Hey Dane, it's season three, 2 episodes down, man, and we're not done yet. How you feeling, man?
Oh, I'm just as excited with this one as I was the first one tonight.
Yeah,
I
dude, looking
mean,
at crazy, man.
yeah, I mean, 1 year ago we started and had an idea of bringing on some great people, positive messages, and it's just a rabbit hole that you don't mind falling down, and because there's nothing but good things all the way.
Yeah.
And
Th this is one day where obviously we had our friend Christy on, a pro angler. We had our
yeah,
Savannah from Oregon State, and then man, this one I'm gonna take a on a quick story. I was in I think I just turned 20. Daisy and I were still dating, and my
yeah,
buddies are like, "Hey, let's go to this concert." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Let's go see a gig." So we went to this awesome concert. This band opened up. It blew my mind. There's this band that opened for them called Progress in Color, kind of like this techno slash like prog rock slash Beatles all mixed into one thing. Like, okay, this band is cool. I'm used to like metal and stuff like that. And
yeah.
then this guy that we're about to bring on jumps onto the stage with the best looking mullet I've seen since David Hasselhoff, just flowing. I mean, the mane is flowing, had a cool like Reno 911 mustache, and he's just getting it. And I'm like,
Oh.
who is this awesome modern day Freddie Mercury just lighting up the stage, right? And then he's going, and the songs, like the lyrical content, he's just getting it. I'm like, that was the first time I saw him. The band that we now love and know as a band in Kansas,
Yeah.
local hero. So man, I from that day I listened to everything they done. I still listen to him on a regular. They got an album called "If You Build a Wall, I'll Build a Ladder." Fantastic album about relationships and just bringing friends together. He's moved on along with still doing that. Got another project called Glass Age, and just continually just doing great things, man. So
Yeah.
I can't say enough of how much I love this artist. So I'm gonna fanboy out, but bring on my buddy Jeremy Spring. Jeremy, how you doing, my friend?
Man, what an intro, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I know what night you're talking about. I was as nervous as you were with the girl, but
Yeah.
with the music, I mean, that was a fun night, man. I know what show you're talking about. Yeah.
It was so cool, man. Like I said, that was the day I realized that keep people, and again, we weren't known in Kansas for having maybe a ton of great bands. Like, this is awesome. And then obviously your career is with
Yeah.
Goatee and it's taken off. And
Yeah.
so, man, it's cool to see the progression of what you've done. So I'm going to jump into it, man. A couple questions Dane and I in the audience has presented, man. When you think about maybe a band in Kansas, obviously that you work with Glass and just such an eclectic genre bending stuff. Maybe your first song when you first started writing, man. When did you get the bug to start writing? Maybe how old were you, and when did this start coming together for you?
Mm, yeah.
The big push for me isn't real original. Like, I mean, a girl dumped me. I mean, I mean, that was my big. At first, was trying to be clever with like a guitar and make like kind of Reliant K type tongue in cheek Christian music, and then a
Yeah,
girl hurt me, and then it really took up like I had something to say,
Mm,
and
yeah,
that was when we really started. I like put the lineup together, and we started like right in the middle of college. It was like '06, '07. Really started like leaning into like uh, actually finishing songs and getting them recorded and working hard enough at Best Buy to pay off the recordings and um, touring on the weekends, that kind of thing. Like the girl is to prove her wrong. I mean,
yeah.
that's really how it kicked off. Yeah.
Oh man. Well,
that's
again, I hope that since then it sounds like you've rebounded nicely. So, and you have a family and all that. So,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry that you went through
yeah.
that, but I'm glad you've
Yeah.
recovered and nicely. So, Dan, go ahead.
But that's where
Oh,
it
that's
started.
that. I was gonna say that's where some of the best stuff comes from is digging deep within yourself. So that's great. So now, whenever you were starting to do gigs and getting your recordings done and things like that, you've obviously promoted yourself. You've done gigs here and there. What is maybe one or two things or events or gigs that you've done that just kind of stick out in your mind that you can kind of tell us about?
Hmm.
Oh man, the one that comes to mind immediately is any opportunity to go international. And
Mm,
we were on GoT Records, like you had mentioned earlier, and Toby had been booked at this festival, and then there was a schedule mix up or something happened, and the spot was available, and they paid for our flights, and we got paid like a pretty like $4 or $5,000, like a pretty good chunk of money for a band
mm,
like at our level right then for one 30-minute performance. You know what I mean? And we were in
wow.
Albania. Tirana, Albania. So we
Okay.
had all the way across and just play that one, and like woke up the next day, next day, you're so jet lagged. And then, I mean, this 1 hour time change this week is throwing me off. Like, we tried to, when we went up there and we played, our opening song was Turn It to Gold. And
Yeah.
they had used that track for the ad for the whole festival. And so
Oh, wow.
when we hit the stage with it, they knew it. And it was like, I felt like Bono for a second. Like when
Yeah.
10 or 12,000 people, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, we were all like, it was louder than our speakers were, so that was cool. And then honestly, I mean, I've also done over 500 living room shows, so I would think that atmosphere is also one of my favorite, like to see a room of 20, 25 people or less come together in like a way similar to like the church stuff growing up, or like a camp moment, or like
Mhm.
a like a
Yeah.
powerful, like into the something moment. I don't know. And I
Yeah. I know
was
what
able
you're
Yeah.
to
saying. Yeah.
Oh,
construct
yeah.
that every night, like in people's houses. So that's also very cool. That's what I think
Oh,
of when
yeah.
yeah.
I think I saw that, and that's one of the things, man. And I say, like, you made it cool, like the rock star thing. And again, you incorporate your values in your faith, but also out there doing the Bono thing to an extent. You go from literally playing this festival, and then also that same passion. It's cool, man. Like I've heard artists say that, and I've watched you do it. Like, hey, you'll do a house show, literally
Yeah.
a house show,
Yeah.
and then also play a gig like that. It's so cool that you give it the same energy, man. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of your videos and takes, and I try to consume as much as I can, whether it's a festival, a church, a house,
A
a
bar,
shop.
yeah. Yeah,
You're
anywhere.
crushing it, man. You're just crushing
Yeah.
the passion, and I love that,
I
So
got to bring it. I always compare the house shows, and I don't want to offend anybody in this analogy, but the house show is like pulling your pants, like going to the bathroom in front of everyone. I mean, it's like
yeah,
sitting on the toilet in somebody's
yeah,
house. Like, I mean, it's like the bathroom doors open. Like
yeah,
it's so intimate, but the big shows are very exposing too, because the sound is so big and the room is so big. Like, can you really talk to that many people at once? Can you really
Yeah.
coerce them all at the same time? And the challenge is equally, you know, unique. And I love it, man. I
yeah.
love communicating the songs and how they connect with people differently, depending on the room, depending on the region, depending on the person. Like it's
Mhm.
so cool.
It's funny that you
Wow.
say that, man. And Dane knows this because Dane he's got 10 years on me. Like I'm the younger of the family. And whenever you spoke about what a girl kind of breaking your heart, right? So my wife and I, we're
Yeah.
married now, but right after we went to your concert, we had about a year where me and her broke up, and I
Oh
played
no,
you built well, I played you built a wall.
you're
I played
listening
it
to.
nonstop on repeat. I told you, when did we change? Like I played it over and over again. My buddy's like, to the point, like, dude, just call her up already and ask her back out, right? So the influence of what you left on me,
But
it was
say some of
you.
the lyrics on
Yeah,
that. We went from naming our kids to changing your name in my phone. I mean, it was some
yeah.
emo stuff.
It was, man. It was classic. It was classic My Cam dashboard. It was great,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So then, when you think about the influences, man, because it's cool to see this thumbprint that you've left on the local music
Yeah.
scene. We say local hero, and then also the genre, which thankfully is coming back. I'm so
Yeah,
glad it's coming
right
back.
back. It makes me
Yeah,
feel weird. It's like right back. Like, because
yeah,
I'm in a
Yeah.
cover band that covers this era. Like, I mean, it's the same stuff I grew up listening to is popular, and people are like, "Have you heard of Brand New? Have you heard of Manchester Orchestra?" It's like, yeah,
just a
they're
little
on the
bit. Yeah,
road right now. Like, I've heard
yeah,
a little bit of them.
yeah. So when you think about, man, obviously the influence, and now it's cool to you watch this revolving door. It's coming back.
Yeah.
Maybe, man, because I've tried to piece together what I feel like maybe some of your influences are, but I know it's such a range from, like you said, your jazz and your hip hop and some of the emo stuff. Is there a couple, maybe, I guess I'd say writers, maybe writers that have left a mark on you
For
in your
sure.
career?
For sure. I think Dallas Willard, the actual writer, is a big part of my lyrics. C.S. Lewis is a big part of my lyrics.
Mm,
Um, I think, and then band wise, like John Foreman, Switchfoot,
yep.
uh, Brandon Flowers, singer of the Killers. Yeah, I think all those influences are right there on my sleeve. And then nuanced stuff, I'm just really a part of the local scene, always have been, like not
Mhm.
just in a band, but promoting shows I'm not even on, and just pushing Wichita and the Kansas scene. I named my band after it. I mean, that was ironic, like, I mean, I did want to put us back in the conversation, and have worked at every level of the biz, from the arena to local show, like as far as like keeping cool music coming to
Yeah.
Kansas,
Yeah.
coming out of
Yeah.
Kansas. I think there's great stuff happening right now in Kansas,
Yeah.
with Midtopia, all the stuff they're cranking out, and just want to get behind that energy and push however I
Yeah.
can. I mean, it
Oh
doesn't have
yeah.
Love it.
to be nice stuff. I just want to be a part of the combo.
Love it, man. You're doing it. Dan, go ahead, man, because
Oh
you're definitely
yeah.
doing it.
Well, like you say, with promoting the local scenes and things like that, and writing, and going into the end of this year here, and as we're getting ready to turn into 2024, what's next on the list for you, on the horizon for you as an artist, as a promoter, and on the music scene? What do you see coming up for you in 2024?
That's
Mm.
cool. Yeah, I like sitting down with some buddies right now trying to figure out how we get like let's get a dope, I want to call it flyover fest, because we're a flyover state, right? But
Mm.
I want to get a dope music fest in Wichita, including a lot of genres, kind of an arts cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just building more traditions, like really rooting down, and like finding some sustaining, traditions that we can do musically here, and just building
Hmm.
more reputation for our scene. I think, I book the music at the Brickyard in Wichita. I think really still involved in the DNA of that. For me personally, musically, want to finish this Glass Age record and get it out, and
Yeah.
uh, have been sitting on a stack of 12 songs for a long time, and just really your pre-interview question about just like initial stuff and dreams and I miss that old Jeremy, that reckless, blissful Jeremy that could just do it. And now
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what's the best way? And my TikTok's not taking off. And how do I, do I put out a song at a time, or do I put out three, or do I put out a whole album and just
Mm-hmm.
drop it surprise, or do I shoot a full music video, spend $10,000 on it, and promote it on YouTube? And all these overthinking. When
Yeah.
before, like, just go, 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 go,
Yeah.
go. Like and so I miss some of that, like that gung ho ness. Where now I'm like, what about my son? What about my job? What about And I'm
Yeah.
thinking about where before it was like, screw that, I'll be homeless before this.
Right.
Like, yeah. So yeah, I think, but do want to launch more music for next year for sure. It's just
Oh,
changed.
nice.
The game has changed. The game has changed in general, but also me generationally. I mean, it's changed.
But I think it's,
Mm.
man, and this is Dane and I have said this too, and I really mean it, man. What I think is changed in a good way, the people that are now consumers of the music, because now we have kids. Like I got a 13-year-old, 11-year-old. Dane is a 13-year-old. We
Okay,
now
that's
have kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have now kind of the purse strings over the music scene. We're the ones buying it, consuming it,
you're
going to
Yeah.
right.
concerts.
You're
So
funding
Yeah.
the
yeah,
dad. Can I buy a T-shirt? Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So now it's like we're saying, hey, let's bring back. And again, I'm not disrespecting new music. I understand that, but like it's not my thing. I would much rather. I heard Dane. We were talking to. I think it might have been Yogi from David Hunter. He's like, you can do a single once every 3 months, and it's cool, and you can build an album, and the people
Yeah.
that are gonna consume it, like you're saying, Jeremy, that's kind of in some ways a better way of doing things if you think about it,
Yeah.
because you can go at your own pace. You're not rushed to put out
Yep.
an album by a label. You can make your own art, put it out occasionally when you see fit, not disrupt your life, and they keep going. You know what I'm saying? So
well,
Mhm.
and there's something devastating about dropping a full 12 song thing and then it doesn't connect for that season for whatever
Mhm.
reason, for what so the multi-release thing kind of gives you a chance to
okay.
build in a
Yeah.
way that the old release did. Before, we wanted to go and skip school and buy a CD. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whenever you do stuff like that, not putting out, say, a full 12-song album, and you have maybe a few songs that you've completed or they're nearing completion. I mean, I'm sure every song that you write has a different feel because it maybe comes from a different place inside of you. Now, whenever you're going to release something, do you kind of read the temperature of the music scene and then figure out which one of those songs maybe fit that temperature and then release
Hmm.
it that way?
That's
That's
a good
good.
question. I do think there are some temperature chasers,
Mhm.
and I think those guys are younger than me. Uh, I think
Yeah.
they're paying attention. They've got Snapchat still, and they, I'm not current with anything. So for me, it's more about the cohesive, complete piece of art
Mhm.
in a totally probably what would be called pretentious way, but that's not the goal. It's just like that's how I know how to think about it.
Mhm. I
And
see.
it's very hard for me to break off into, oh, this sound is here right now, because then it feels like pop music or like
Yeah.
chasing flavor
Yeah.
stuff, so, which isn't I've always been like, I want to like my music, and
Yeah.
this sounds like something, but creating is for the creator, and I would
Yeah.
say
Mhm.
that both this way and this way. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the connection. And so
Mhm.
the fact that other people like it or get involved is cool, but it doesn't really matter if the
Yeah.
person making it doesn't like it. Like, you can
Yeah.
It,
tell right away. I mean,
I don't mean to name drop, but you said something, and we were talking to Brock. We had a Brockett Parsons. He's Lady Gaga's piano player. We do
okay,
musicians as well. He goes, "Hey, make something that you like, and somebody will like it, even if
yeah,
like you
Yeah.
don't think if you like it, even though we're one of a kind and we're maybe our own thumbprint, somebody's gonna find you and connect
mhm,
with you, and you're gonna build. That's why I
Yeah.
love that when you're making music now. I love the digital world because you can really connect with core fans, right? Like
yeah.
you
Yeah.
literally get the people that really love you. You know what I'm
You can
saying?
hone right in, like
Yeah.
the algorithm really does it. It's funny you quote a person from the Gaga camp, because the quote from her early on, interviewer was like, "Your music's like for 1% of the world," and she was like,
Yeah.
"That's a lot of people."
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? Like, if you aim for your crowd, you hit it. If you aim for
That's good.
everybody, you get nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if you write a song for everybody, you end up with country music. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not good. Like it.
Yeah. I get you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's man, I could talk all Dane knows this. I've been talking about this for a long time.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you doing this. There
Yeah.
is a segment, man, I'm going to transition to.
Hey,
I'm
you're
going to
good.
make you laugh. You're going to laugh about this. What this is, we have a couple benchmark segments for our show as we approach episode 200. We have
Cool.
three things we do. We have something called rapid fire, we have fact or fib, and we have truth or Dane. So for you, there's a segment that we're going to do that's called rapid fire. So check this out. You are good at being on the cuff. I think there's still that blaze of fire in you. So we're going to
Yeah.
present to you five
If I
questions.
could
It's
do
funny that
anything, I'd do stand up, dude. I mean, that would be what. Yeah.
yeah,
There you go.
I think it's cool that you said country. So I had some ones because I know
Oh,
you're not big on country. I've got some country stuff that's going to be in these rapid fire. And here's the thing: me and Dane are going to throw five questions at you. It's a Rorschach test. We already bet on what we think you're going to say. There's no wrong answer, so we're going to say, hey, take these five questions and you just go with one or the other. We've already bet on what we think you're going to say. Okay, it's pretty cool.
I like
So
it.
Dane, you got your picks, Dane. You ready?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, so it's a combination of things. Okay, so imagine that the metaverse is possible and we can travel in time and cartoons can come to life. So first question, they ask you to come back for we're gonna say Vans Warped Tour, something like that. It's coming back in 2024, and you have to go on stage during your reunion tour, whatever you want to call it. You have to be a life-size Billy the Puppet from Saw, or you've got to be a Barney, the purple Barney costume. You have to wear one of these for your whole concert. Billy or Barney, which one are you rocking for your show?
Barney.
Let's go. I had you. I really did. Dane, how about you, man?
No, I had Billy there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. On that same, on the same festival, two of these legendary country artists are like somehow they're in the 80s. They go, whoa, we're just transplanted to 2024. We show up at your concert and they like your music. So these two guys say, hey, we want to arm wrestle you on stage. You can go against Waylon Jennings, or you can go against Merle Haggard in an arm wrestling match.
Merle Haggard, dude. Okie from Muskogee. Merle.
Let's go. Let's go. I had you. I did. How about you, Dane?
Oh, I'm 0 for 2. I was going with Waylon.
You didn't have that one? No? So
No.
okay. So next one. Something happens. Your drummer's out. Your drummer's sick. Calls in sick for the night. So you have to sing Phil Collins style, but you've also got to drum for the night. You got to fill in behind the kit. Here's the crazy thing. Here's the crazy thing with your show. You're back at that same festival. There's no drumsticks on the planet. You have to drum with two things.
Okay.
Slim Jims or coat hangers? Which one are you going with? Let's go. I had you, man. I did. Dane, how about you?
Those are Slim Jims. Heck yeah.
Let's go. I love it.
When you're
I
done,
love
you
it.
just whenever you're. Oh yeah, whenever you're done, you just snap them off.
Yeah, you just eat after each song. You're like, what's the next one?
Yep. Snap into a song. Oh yeah, brother. I love it, man.
That's a great commercial too. I can see it.
How cool could that be? You're like, you're behind the cage. You just get it, man. I'm telling you, man. It's a thing. That could be your next little thing, you know.
Yeah, that's my break.
So 2 more of these of the rapid fire. So you're called up and they say, hey, we're gonna do a celebrity band, or we're gonna do a band versus band paintball tournament. So it's you guys versus the Used. You guys are off the stage, going back there, and they say you don't get to use but you don't get to use traditional paintballs. You have to go with potatoes. You're gonna do a paintball tournament with potatoes, or you're gonna go with old school marbles. Now nobody gets hurt, but you gotta go potatoes or marbles. Which one are you going with?
Oh, somebody going to say marshmallows or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going marbles. We're going on hurt.
Oh yeah.
Dane, did you have that one?
Oh yeah, you hit marbles. You can hit the handfuls. Oh yeah.
Let's go. Love
like
it, man.
It's like buckshot going out there.
Last one. So check this out. This is we're gonna go early 90s. I know a lot of the great influences do come from the 90s. So you're going back to 1995. This is kind of one of your kind of jazz trip hop questions for you. They say, hey, we want you to fill in for the night for one of these 2 legendary 90s influences. You can fill in for the night for Moby. You can be Moby for the night, or you can fill in for Sandstorm.
Sandstorm. I'm doing Sandstorm.
Let's go, man. So you have to cut the hair a little bit for Moby, right? Love him.
Right.
So, Dane, did you have Moby?
Oh,
Dane?
yeah.
Did you have Sandstorm? Yeah.
That's that Sandstorm.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Either of those.
Good.
That was awesome.
Let's go. Well, man, I'll tell you what. That's a little segment, Jeremy. Just a little original we do called Rapid. So we had some fun with that.
I like it.
Good, man. So final segment again. Dane, I'm gonna give it back to you, man, for that final piece.
Yeah, Jeremy. On this segment, we call it an open mic. We open up the floor to our guests to maybe tell some of those younger viewers and listeners that wish to follow their dreams. We always ask our guests to maybe give them maybe a word or 2 of wisdom to, help them along their path. Is there some maybe advice you can give a young artist or athlete or anybody just aspiring to do something great and wants to follow their dreams? Maybe a couple of words of wisdom from you.
Yeah, I think, man, it's hard not to go into comedy mode, but I do know people do listen to things, and I think when I was young, somebody needed to tell me, the same cliche: you could do anything, but also you can't.
Yeah.
And just to pay attention to what you love, pay attention to what you really like, what doesn't feel like work. Like if you're in the garage the whole time and it feels like time didn't even pass and you did all this thing, then like maybe you should be a mechanic, like I think don't listen to your critics, and also don't listen to your praisers. I mean, I think just don't listen to feedback. Pay attention to what your hands are touching. I think literally your connection, what your fingers connect to your brain, it's worth paying attention to. I think pay attention to what impact your work has on other people. And as soon as it's meaningful, chase that. I think listen to those type notes, not what other people are telling you.
Wow.
Could make certain money or this is what I did, or you're just like your dad in this way, or I can really see you doing this, just because of one nudge. And because it's weird, right? In school or in church, like one little nudge can really push you in a way of like that wasn't even the right direction or isn't even correct. Or just limits you in a way where it's like, I messed up once, like I can definitely dunk, or whatever it is. Like, so I think paying attention to the inner and the bigger monologue versus the
that's good, man. Yeah. You said
Wow.
something.
Yeah.
My word's so young. Yeah.
No, it's neat because you said this, Dane, and I don't know if you caught that. I'm sure you did when you said don't pay attention to the haters or the praisers. That's
Yeah.
powerful, man.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's cool. Because it's like, hey, you might get a big head if you listen to only your praisers that might need to
Yeah.
kind of you
They're
may need
gonna
to
tell
hear.
you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Dane, what do you say to that, man? That's awesome.
Yeah,
So,
I like it. I mean, that's a good way to put it, because if you listen to obviously nobody wants to listen to critics, but those are just as important as the other ones. I mean, if you don't listen to any of them, I like what you said, would pay attention to what your hands are on and go with that.
Yeah.
Something that you have a passion for.
A professor of mine, I hope I have my keys. A professor of mine said, "Take care of your kingdom." And he just jingled it for 2 minutes.
really, wow.
Really made it stick. And he was like, "This is your kingdom. Take care of the people that let you in these doors. We're responsible for to serve. These other things that take up our headspace, as far
Wow.
as and like we were talking about with what touches your hands. Like those are the things you can impact. I mean,
Wow.
Wow.
You're spot on, man. And it's neat because I think what's made you so lovable. And again, everybody I ever talked, even now, like all my boys that we're still in that same age group of music, whenever we mention your name and the band, it's so genuine because it's cool that thankfully you have been well loved because you've been yourself. You've never strayed from being yourself. You were the only dude. You were the only dude in 2008 that had a mullet. And it was so
that
cool.
wasn't cool then.
It was awesome though, but it was cool because it was you. So now it's like you look around the corner, there's 10 kids walking around the mullet, right? It's like now it's a movement. You know what I mean? So
yeah. I've had these same glasses since like 5th grade. You never know, dude.
I love it, man. Well, Jeremy, I'm telling you, man,
You
I
guys
will
are
say
great.
this. I love it, dude. Please make it known that this is an open invitation. We call it alum. Once you come on the show, man,
Yeah.
once, man, please make it a point. We love, obviously, I know we're both local. We'll stay in touch. I'll get you my number.
Yeah.
Let's make sure this is the first of many. We have kind of a revolving process where
Let's just go
we'll
get
bring
coffee.
people.
Dude. Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm for real. So we'll make sure we set that up, man. So what we'll do
more
is
traffic your way.
okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, we would absolutely love that, man. So I'll make sure Dane and I and you stay in touch. I know it's a little bit later and we've all got, little ones. So I want to say thank you on behalf of Dane and I. We'll make it a point to stay in touch and make this a recurring thing. Okay, brother? So
cool. Very cool. Love talking to you guys.
Yes, sir. We'll be in touch. Okay, man. You take care. Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Much love, man. So Dane, I'm telling you, dude, Jeremy, I mean everything I said about the guy, man. Meeting him, what'd you think? Wasn't he great?
Yeah. I mean, whenever you told me about him, what he's like, I mean, he just everything you said and more, the knowledge, about, I've taken notes as he was talking, trying to write as fast as I was hearing things that I needed to write, that's when, you got somebody that gets it. Like we always say, they understand what life is and they're unapologetically them. And you can learn from a lot from people like that because they have a passion for what they do and they do it well.
He's like, it's one of those people where you walk into your room and you're like, everybody's his friend, and it's like,
I
remember saying he was one of those local legends even before like the wave came. This is even pre Interest Arena days, man. He's been a legend and he's still young. He's not even in his 40s yet. No offense, Dan, but like he's still a young dude doing it, and like he's got this history of just bringing great music to Wichita, and it's like no wonder he's got his hand in everything. Pay attention to your hands. His hands in producing, promoting, working with this band. No wonder Toby Mac found him, man, because he's great. Like talk about writings, man. Like I don't know how he writes the way he does, man. It's phenomenal. So, but so wow, that was a great interview with Jeremy Spring. Love that guy. So I'll make sure we will stay in touch and we'll make sure to get him on for a recurring thing. But guys, that will bring us to tomorrow. We've got 2 friends tomorrow stopping by, Dane, to end tomorrow. We've got our buddy Sage from the Psych TV show stopping by tomorrow. Love that show. And one of my other heroes, Dane, I've been telling you about this for a long time. I've got our buddy Mark, the lead singer of Stavesacre, and Neon Horse stopping by tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun night. So should be a good night. So I will end it on that, guys. Thanks for the triple header season 3 opener. That was a great one. Don't forget, as always, that we love you. And Dane,
thank you for listening.
There, I used to